Hello. Hello on Instagram. Hold on, I'm just fixing an audio issue. Hello. Okay, let me know on Facebook and YouTube. Can you hear me? I just want to know if you can hear me. Hi there. Let me know on Instagram. Can you hear me? Hello. Confirm. Good night, Mike. Go ahead and let me know. Okay, good. You can hear me. Good, good, good. I'm getting adjusted to this mic. Thank you all for joining. Great. I appreciate that. On YouTube, let me know. Okay, good. Nice. All right, so let's get started. I was and we were just great. Thank you so much, Jellica. Thank you for joining, Chi. So I was talking about the latest tactic that is happening right now in immigration courts. That is, it's basically a trap to get immigrants detained by ICE. And what's happening is those immigrants who do have their court hearings in person, because you do have hearings by video, and then you have hearings by in person that you have to attend in person. And some people can apply to have their court hearings done by video. It just depends on what's going on, what the circumstances are. But those individuals who do have their hearings in person are going to their hearings, complying with the law. They are often going to the court hearings because they are trying to do the right thing, and they're working on getting immigration relief through the court. But the problem is when they go, or right before they go, they find out that the government lawyer that's on the ICE lawyer is submitting a motion to dismiss to the judge. And when the hi there, Tanya, and when they go ahead and submit this motion and the judge grants it, and a motion to dismiss can be put forth based on it just depends on the case and the facts of the case and the arguments they're making. Oh, thank you for joining, Tanya. Welcome. Uh, but what happens is the judge, if the argument is successful, the case is dismissed. As soon as that person walks out the door, the ICE agent grabs them and detains them and puts them in ICE detention. But here's the other thing. If at the time they applied for their immigration relief through the court, they were in the country for less than 2 years, what they're doing is saying, okay, and that's the strategy. If you have been in the country or were in the country for less than 2 years at the time you filed with the court, then they get it dismissed. They're making the argument that they can file for expedited, not file, they can actually put the immigrant through expedited removal. That means that as soon as they detain them, within a day or two, they're on a plane and being deported. So that is what is happening. It's happening all across the country. Right now, I'm seeing reports of it happen in Miami. It's happening in Washington, in Seattle, San Diego. So if you have a court hearing in person, it's now time to look at. Now, I can't tell you not to show up for your hearing. Not showing up for your hearing is also one of the worst decisions that you could make. Because one, if you don't show up for the hearing, you get a removal order in absentia, and what that means is that once you have a removal order, it's hard to get any kind of other types of relief. So you don't want to do that either. But it's important, and it really is on a case by case basis. But it's important for you to seek legal advice. Talk to your attorney if you're already represented by an attorney. Make sure you sit down and have a heart to heart talk with the attorney about what to expect. It doesn't mean that attorney is not going to keep fighting for you, but it may mean that the fight is going to be a harder fight, a more stressful fight if you're detained, of course. But it does not mean, once again, that all hope is lost. Another thing you should know, so there are three things I'm going to tell you here. If you are afraid you're going to face the situation, or you are in the situation, or you will be in the situation, there's three things that you need to keep in mind. One, you need to make sure that you don't sign anything. Signing a document can mean that you could actually be signing permission for them to deport you. Also, seek out, look if there's other forms of relief, because other forms of relief can actually put a halt on removal proceedings, like the T visa. So the T visa, once you get a bona fide determination letter, it means it puts a halt on removal proceedings until a decision is made. And once that decision is an approval, it means that you're able to your deportation is canceled, and you're able to move forward and go on a path to green card instead. So it's very important that you understand that, and make sure you talk to your attorney. Make sure you strategize with your attorney. Um, do not talk to the whoever is detaining you. They're not your friend, and they're going to use all the information you give them. They can use that information against you. You can use your right to remain silent and only talk to your lawyer. So, and then the other thing is, make sure that if you are afraid to go back to your country because you're going to be harmed, make sure you state that clearly, because that is the only thing that stops an expedited removal. When you're afraid to go back to your country and you ask to talk to have a credible, fair interview, or to talk to an asylum officer about your fear, then it means that they have to stop everything. They have to put you through that extra process to determine whether you meet the credible, fair interview standard. And then from there, you could be pushed back into regular proceedings going forward. So keep that in mind, that even though they may be pushing, fast tracking deportation, there are still legal options, but you have to act fast. And this is where having an attorney is essential. Now, when it comes to looking at other forms of relief, that can serve as a possible alternative to court. And sometimes that relief, as I mentioned with the T visa, can actually create a situation where you can get your deportation canceled and instead move forward with that form of relief. So give us a call. Make sure you go to the link in the profile. That's going to lead you to the link tree where you'll see a button. You can schedule your own appointment. We answer phones 24/7 right now. Our team is working around the clock to make sure that we're answering calls, that everybody does have a chance to ask whether there's an alternative option for them. All right, so I know it's late, but I'm going to answer it's late and I feel my brain slowing down a bit, but I'm going to answer some questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments so I can answer those questions. Okay, I think I see here. I haven't been seeing what's happening in Connecticut. It's happening around the country. People are being taken away. Mothers are being taken away from their children. They're increasing raids at work sites now. So we saw the restaurant that they raided in San Diego, the construction site in Tallahassee. So it's getting intense, and the reason it's getting this intense is because they've basically quadrupled the number of immigrants that they have to find. So now instead of 1,000 a day, it's gone to 4,000 a day. And what I'm hearing too, one of the tips that we're hearing from the inside is that now they're putting pressure on ICE officials to go anywhere, do anything you have to get people that don't have their papers. If they don't have their papers, get them. It is not about whether they have a obviously, we're seeing that. That is not about them having a criminal record. It's about getting people. And so we're going through what's happening is we're starting to go through a mass traumatic event because we're all watching this happen in front of our eyes. Some of the worst situations that a mother and a parent, a father can anticipate is happening to some people right now. So it's important to make sure you're looking at your legal options. One of the things to these people are doing the right thing by going to court. And yes, they've now made it more difficult for these immigrants to comply with the law because they have a fear of leaving their family, leaving safety. But it's so important to, from a legal perspective, to evaluate the laws that are in the books. These laws have been there before the Trump administration, they will be there after the Trump administration. These are the types of laws that you have to look at, right? These are the laws that this law firm works with. This form of relief has been in place since 2000, and through the different administrations, through the different pressures that immigrants have faced throughout the years, these are the laws that have been in place that have been a godsend for some immigrants. So make sure that you're looking at those options. I have a marriage-based interview this week. What sort of questions are expected? So if you go to the link in the description of the video, you'll see Linktree. Go on that Linktree and scroll down. You'll see actually a handout that is there with sample interview questions. So I believe you have to sign up, and once you sign up for our newsletter, then, which the newsletter is very good, by the way, you do get a lot of information there. But once you sign up there, you will be emailed um, a sample of questions that you could prepare for, and you and your spouse can look over those and just make sure you're on the same page. I definitely understand, and what I would say, so when going into your marriage based interview, and I'm pretty sure many of there are multiple people watching this that maybe are in the same situation. So you're at the tail end of your process now. Going into that interview, you need to know line by line everything in your application. The officers are going to ask you your address history. They're going to compare addresses. They're going to ask you about addresses. They're going to look at your identification, yours, your spouse's identification, to see if there are any discrepancies, see if there are any mismatches. So know your applications. If you go through your applications now and you see that there is information, maybe something that you missed or something that turns out to be incorrect, make sure you make a list of those in case you have to talk to the officer about making those corrections, especially in some cases where they may question an omission or they may question information that's not correct. So you want to make sure that you look for information that you may want to correct. And then look at those sample questions, and then, get the PDF, look at those sample questions, and go over it with your spouse. It's not a guarantee those will be questions you will have, but it's likely at least some of those will show up. Cannot find the link. So it should be in the description of the video. I don't know if the description appears after the live is finished, but usually there's a description at the bottom of this video, and I think towards the comment section, and then you'll see the link there. You click the link, and it should take you there. Uh, if not, you can also go to my page, so immigration lawyer Sharifa on Instagram. Let me just make sure. Yep, immigration lawyer Sharifa on Instagram, and you'll see the link there on the homepage as well. All right. Spouse die big file for VAWA. What are my chances? So it depends on your facts, but if you were mistreated by your spouse, or then VAWA would work here. My cousin's employment authorization card has already expired since April in humanitarian parole program, but he's now married and already applied for adjustment of status. He did apply. So yes, if he was paroled, so he was paroled into the country. When you're paroled into the country and then you get married to a US citizen, you can still get adjustment of status. So in this case, even though he has lost parole, because he's married to a US citizen, he's still able to pursue adjustment of status. So this is where I say, if you're losing your status, you're losing parole, don't, it's not the end of the world. I know, well, what I would say is, because it can feel like the end of the world, I understand this is devastating. But what I say is, give us a call or give your attorney a call and start looking at other options. Like your cousin who is now married, so they switched to a marriage-based process. If I request a waiver on my I-751 pending based on abuse, can I still be able to file for citizenship at 3-year mark if it's the VAWA I-751 waiver? Yes, meaning if you are mistreated, you applied for the waiver, you are mistreated, then yes, the 3 years would still apply for you to get citizenship. Hello. Pending T case. My child was sick with scoliosis diagnosis. I'm sorry about that. I can do anything with my case pending. So you may be able to do a request, an expedite request based on this. If it's life threatening, if you need medical assistance urgently, then doing an expedite request could be a possibility here to help speed up the processing of your case. It's not guaranteed, but it is based on the discretion of the officer, and an urgent medical need is one of them. Filed marriage based January 2025. How long will it take for EAD approval? So you should be getting something anytime soon now. So I would say 3 to 6 months. Any news for the ones working on I-601A form? Nothing new, just, it's being processed as normal. And of course, the processing times are still frustratingly long. Let's see. Please, I have an interview on the 5th. Can I print my statement off account 2 days before my interview? Why not? I don't see where that would hurt you. I'm not your attorney. I can't give you particular legal advice, but I don't see where printing your statement. No, here, I guess maybe the question goes to this. If you're going to your interview, if you have new evidence to support that your marriage is bona fide, take that evidence with you. And so if you have an updated bank account, take that bank statement with you as well. How long does it take to get your work permit? Doing T status. So right now it's very slow, but what we have seen is those who have gotten it at about 6 months after getting the bona fide determination. So it took about 2 months to get the bona fide determination, and then another 6 months to get the work permit. Upon approval, you do get the work permit right away, and that is 12 to 18 months. And now I'm seeing it go towards the 2-year mark. So we're seeing longer processing times. Um, all right. That's going to be it for me tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I really appreciate these questions. I'm going to work to be back here, hopefully at a much earlier time, so I can have more energy to answer questions. But I do appreciate your patience, especially with the technical difficulties before. And I will be back tomorrow to answer more questions. Like, subscribe, share, follow, hit the notification bell, do all of that, because that is how you share. The other people are going to see this information that's going to help empower them. And then you'll also see when I go live. So as soon as I go live, you can come on if you're available, and then you can ask questions as they come to you. Thanks so much, Godfair. Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Bye bye.